I'm going to get him to just go back. Where'd she go? She done ran out of the room. Huh? Okay. Come here, Precious. You making... Go back to that? Yes. Now, what I'm going to get him to do, I'm going to get him to jump back and forth. Now, is there a way you think you can show him, or he know how to do, that you go boom, boom, without having to go back to this part? Is that making sense? Yeah. You follow me? Yeah. Okay, so this teaching right here, Elder, I want you to have be ready to show this one and this one, these two. Okay, so when I say go back to one, that's what we'll do. We'll flip-flop like that, okay? Okay, so now, once you get that back up here, so I want you to start with, matter of fact, let me make a note here. I know y'all saying it's boring already, ain't it? No, I promise, if you, and I know you are, maybe you will grab something. Maybe you'll grab something that somewhere it'll bless your soulish realm tonight, okay? What I stand here telling you tonight is colored people, black people, people of color. We was the leaders in the Christian circles. Yes, we were the leaders in the religious circle. Yes, and we were the leaders in the secular circle during biblical days. Yes, Say it again. We were the leaders in the secular circle during biblical days. We were the leaders in the religious circle during biblical days. And then when Christianity came along, we were the leaders even in the Christian circle. Everything in ancient days, you were the leaders of it. You were the first Hebrews. You also were the first Gentiles. Now I know some of the Hebrew brothers ain't gonna like to hear that one. Some of the Hebrew brothers ain't gonna like to hear that one, but I can prove it. The black man was the first Hebrews, the black man was the first Israelites, the black man was the first Jews, the black man was the first Gentiles. And we was in charge of everything until around about AD 500. From then up until now, that's when the powers begin to change. So you do the math. A lot of people start creation with Adam around about 4,000 BC. Around about 4,000 BC. Some even calculated 3,900 and something BC. I'm rounded up to 4,000. So around about 4,000 BC, a lot of us in the Christian circle believe that that's when God formed Adam from the dust, around about 4,000 BC, black man. So from 4,000, you know, if I had a dry erase board, I could draw it. From 4,000, the time goes from 4 going down to 0. It goes from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, then to 0. Then it picks up from 0, goes from 0 to 1,000 to 2,000 to where we at right now. That makes sense. So from 4,000 to about 0, that's 4,000 years. Then it start picking up from 0 to about 500. That's when you start seeing the power change begin to come on the scene. So we held the reins of authority. We held the reins of leadership. We held the reins of power in the secular circle, in the religious circle. I don't care what the religion was. I don't go to the Hindu, Buddha, whatever. We held the reins of power and authority in everything for about 4,500 years. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Somebody told us that certain people in the Bible were white But did we ever ask them to prove it? We've been told it, but have we ever been bold enough to ask them to prove that they was white? Because I stand here with a limited amount of understanding and with a limited amount of research and knowledge, because my finances just don't allow me to just do like I want to as far as research and study and so forth. But from my limited knowledge and understanding and ability I got my hands on for as far as research, I'm able to stand here and say, I can prove to you that they were black. Now, white, they did exist. Let me clarify that. They didn't exist during Adam's time. They didn't exist during Noah's time. They didn't exist during Noah's time. They came on the scene close to the first century. You start seeing them really come on the scene as far as, watch how I word this, as far as the white complected person. How did I say that? As far as the white complexion coming on the scene, you didn't see that until thousands of years later after Adam. For the white complexion. Because a lot of times you think about Gentiles, some of the people that's learning and studying, a lot of times you think about Gentile, you rarely think about the white. Especially one that's learning and studying. A lot of times they connect it to the white man. Yes, a lot of white men are, and white women are Gentile, but there are some black Gentiles too, because the black Gentiles came first. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. Let's start here. She's going to need a mic. Oh, you want to read? Genesis 10. Now I don't have a particular version or preference that I try to read from, but I do, when I do read or have reading open like this, I do ask to read from the King James, because it's certain words in the King James that take you back to the written language more easier than a lot of other translations. So when I say King James, I'm not trying to push the particular King James version on you to have you to go get that and just read that. I read from that in studying because it takes you back to the written language more easier than in other translations. So that's when I say, if you have the King James, I like to read from that. Go Genesis chapter 10, verse 1.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer.
Now, it said these are the sons of who? Noah, right?
Noah.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem was a black man. Japheth, Noah was a black man. His wife was a black woman. He had the three sons that were black men. Go ahead, read.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Medah, and Javan, and Tubal,
okay,
and Meshach, and Tyrus.
Now, all at this point in time, everybody say this point in time. At this point in time, in the context, in this context where we're reading these names of these sons, of these children, at this point in time, these were all black folk. Why? Because they had just came out of the ark, and if you look at where they went inside of the ark black, they're not going to turn colors inside of the ark. And they come outside of the ark settled in the Ararat Mountains, and that's kind of further up north. Then they came down to Shinar, that's in Iraq and Iran area, in that same hot climate. They would have kept the same complexion. You follow me? Read.
And the sons of Javan.
I'm
sorry, I skipped one. And the sons of Gomer,
Yes.
Ashkenaz,
Yes.
and Rephath,
Yes.
and Togarmah.
Come on.
And the sons of Javan, Elisha,
Uh-huh.
and Tarshish,
Yes.
Kittim,
Mm-hmm.
and Dondanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles.
Pause. So, the scripture tells us who the Gentiles were. This verse says, by these. What's the these there? The list that was just named. You following that? It says, by these were the isles of the Gentile. So that scripture tells us what lineage or what people group make up the Gentiles. It said, by these. The these there is the name that was just mentioned. Right. Now, those names that were just mentioned at that time, when they came out of the ark, at that time back then, all them folk were black. Yes, sir. Come on now. Yes. Yes. All them folk were black. They had not migrated to the poles yet to start changing color. And when they did start migrating to the poles, guess what? All of them didn't go up there. Some of them stayed right there in that hot climate. Come on, you getting it? Yeah. Everybody didn't go north. Everybody didn't go beyond the Caucasus Mountain. And truth be told, I know I'm on tape, I say it again, all white folk ain't Caucasians either. How many has heard that white folk are Caucasians? Some of them are, some of them not. You know why? What makes them a Caucasian? The Caucasians ones that came beyond the Caucasus Mountains. All Caucasians or all white folk didn't come beyond the Caucasus Mountains. Everybody didn't go up that way to those cold Arctic climates. The reason why they're called Caucasians is because when they came out of those Caucasus Mountains, when they came from those Arctic, those cold climates way up there, what's way up north? Arctic, what's way up there? Y'all know what's up there? Freezing up there. North Pole, all that stuff. So when they started coming down from those cold climates, because they realized it was real cold up there, them cavemen, they were looking like cavemen, though. That's true, though. That's true. But here we go. So when they came down from those cold climate, from those cold areas, you have, I believe it's the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. In between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, or the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, I'm trying to remember what side it's on, there's a set of mountains there called the Caucasus Mountains. So they had to either come across those mountains to come down to what we call Middle East or Israel or that, down south, or they would have came around. But the shortest route of distance, because you got that sea right there, and the sea right there, was to come around and not try to cross the sea. So they would come over the mountains or come around the mountains. So those ones that came beyond those mountains, the Caucasus Mountains, were called the Caucasians. But say, for instance, if I had a map, I could show it to you. Say if you had some white people that didn't come from that point, that didn't come across those mountains. You see where I'm coming from? You can't call them Caucasians. You should call them white folk. Or your brother and sister that lost their melanin. Because that's all it is. It's your brother and sister that became depigmented. But let me say this. This is a long introduction, Dr. Webb. Something happened to them when they was up in the mountains, though. That pineal gland began to freeze. And that's another whole subject. The first thing they should have did when they came out those cold mountains, they should have got their hands on the first black person. I'm gonna leave that alone. Here we go. So those Gentiles, the original Gentiles, were black. The original Israelites were black. The original ones in the secular circle, the leaders, were black. First believers of Yeshua, Jesus, were black. And some of the rulers of that time were black. Next slide, sir. Here we go. Here we go. You can go ahead and work this here. You might have to stand right there. The great-grandnephew, matter of fact, go to the other slide. Yeah, go jump over to Israel. There you go. He working that thing. I love it. I love it. That was quick. I like that. That's good. The first believers of Yeshua Jesus were black, and some of the rulers of that time were black. Who told us that they were white and proved it? Who have they sat down and proved it? Here we go. Next slide. Go ahead. Yeshua, Jesus, was a black man. Let's go to Matthew 2. Now, when you see this AU in the corner there, I want you to understand why I have that there. That means Augustus. Okay? That's a little note that I got there to remind me of who is the emperor. Because like I said, this may get real boring. But if you grab it, it's life-changing. Okay? So now, because what I'm trying to do, what I think I'm going to try to present to us is this. At the time of the first century, the time our Lord and Savior was born, and the time of the testaments, or the Gospels and so forth, what I'm going to show and prove, but could be wrong, is that not only were the believers in Yeshua black, these Jews or Israelites, but also the leaders of the government were black. Those emperors, the ones who they took Jesus to stand before. Get this now. The ones who Jesus had to go, or Yeshua had to go stand before and be tried. So you had a black Messiah stand in front of a black government. Come on, God. Now, it gets better. Because Israel was under Roman rule. Israel was under Romans, under the Rome authority. So what am I saying? Though they was in the land of Israel, they still had to answer to Rome thousands of miles away. Ready for this? Israel was sitting, Yeshua and his disciples and his followers were black men sitting there, had to come before the government in Israel, black people, who was under the leadership and government of another country, Rome, and the government that they was over or under were black as well. This is the part we don't hear. When we think about Rome, let's be honest, when we think about Rome, we think about white folk. You know. When you think about Rome, you think about white folk. It's white folk now. But back during biblical days, the brothers was in charge. We held the power in everything, family. I ain't just going to tell you, I can show it to you. So you had our Messiah, a black man, standing before the government of his day, Claudius and or Tiberius and all of them black people, under the Roman rule, way across the land somewhere, black folk. It was a black thing all the way around. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. So Yeshua, Jesus was a black. Look at Matthew 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show us the Christian or Messianic circle being black folk, the Messiah being black. Then I'm going to flip-flop over to the Roman government, showing how they were black, and showing also how the leaders of that day that was in charge of Jerusalem, they were black. It was a black thing from every crack and every corner. Somebody told us that they were white folk. White folk were around, don't get me wrong. By that time they was around, but they weren't holding no position of authority. They was around during the first century, during the time of Messiah, but they held no position of authority. I can prove it. I can prove it. You all held it down for 4,500 years strong. So the question, what happened? Because now when you look at all three religions, you ain't in charge no more. You ain't look at all three circles. We not in charge in the secular circle no more. We not in charge in the Christian circle no more. We not in charge in the religion. What happened? Or do we even care? Matthew 2, 13 and 15, read.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child.
Now everybody knows this passage, basically. We talk about the black baby Jesus and the black history. Everybody knows this passage. So this is nothing new right here. This is nothing new. So right now I'm just building on this foundation just for those that may not know that Jesus is black. Read.
When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And was there unto the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son.
Now, y'all know the question. How can you have a little black baby Jesus, or if he was white, a little white baby Jesus down in Africa? Y'all know that ain't gonna preach nowhere. You can't have a little white baby Jesus down there in black Africa. So it's clear, it's evident, and that's just been proven. I think everybody know that by now. So that's that. And I had a video, but we're not gonna show the video. Now let's go to Revelations 1, 14 to 15. Now, dates are very important. The baby Jesus might have been born around about 4 BC. We don't know for sure, but give or take, I say around about 4 BC, maybe 3 BC, 1 BC, 4 BC, somewhere in that window of time. You got different ones that had different dating, had no problem with that. But I just want to zero in on it's BC. BC, that's very key. It's BC. Go ahead.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Yes.
As white as snow.
Mm-hmm.
And his eyes were as flame of fire.
Mm-hmm.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Yes.
As if they burned in a furnace. And his voice was the sound of many waters.
Okay, so his feet were like what? Brass color. Brass is not white, brass is color. So now, when the baby Jesus or Yeshua was born, and I'm going ahead of myself, but then I'm going to go back. When the baby Yeshua was born, the leader of Israel was called Herod, or Herod, okay? But now, he was the leader of Israel, but he had to give an account to Augustus. I'm saying it again. Black baby Jesus is born in Israel, taken down to Egypt to hide him amongst all the other black folks so they couldn't find little black baby Jesus. Okay? Because Herod, black man Herod, tried to kill black baby Jesus. Because Herod was in charge of Israel. Okay? But now, Herod may have been in charge of Israel, but he had to answer to a higher authority than himself, and that was Rome. Because Rome was in charge of Israel. Meaning, Israel worked for Rome. Meaning, you do what Rome said, even though you're in Israel. That make sense? It's just like we are, who's the governor of Maryland? Somebody named Larry, okay? Larry has, look at her face. Larry has some authority, but he had to answer to Trump. You see where I'm coming from? That's the picture I'm trying to paint. I'm trying to paint that picture. So Herod had some authority, but he had to answer to Rome. The one that was in charge in Rome was a fellow named Augustus. Augustus was black. So now you got Augustus black in charge of Herod black trying to kill black baby Jesus. but all we see is white pictures. The good, bad, and the ugly. Go to Rome. Yeah, switch over to Rome, teacher. We're gonna talk about Augustus. Okay. Watch this now. Now, this is information about Augustus. Okay. Augustus was the great grandnephew. How many of you heard of Julius Caesar? Ah. But do we know or were we told that Julius Caesar was black? Huh? They don't tell you that. But now, watch this now. Now, I'm not going to hang out with Julius Caesar because I want to deal with the time of Messiah to now. So I said 4 BC. Because we can go back further BC, but I'm trying to deal with the time of Christ to today. Because we can go back further. So we're going to start with Augustus. Okay? Now, Augustus was the great-grandnephew of Julius Caesar. Octavian took the name Augustus. So his name was, something happened. There you go. His name was Octavian, and it took the name Augustus. He was the emperor of Rome. Thus, ruler of Israel, he was a black man. So now, watch it now. He ruled Rome, 27 BC to 14 AD. When was Jesus born? Around about 4 BC. So I said dates are important. You making sense? So he ruled Israel from Rome. Y'all getting that? Okay, here we go. He was a black man. He ruled Israel, he ruled in Rome, 27 BC to 14 BC. Let's go to Luke 2 and 1.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
There went out a decree. From who?
Caesar Augustus.
Caesar Augustus. So now we see that he is in Rome making a ruling to take place where? In where? Israel. That making sense? Read.
That all the world should be taxed.
See, he had that authority to do that. Go ahead. That's all. Let's go to Acts 25, 21 through 20. Acts 25, 21 and 25.
But when Paul had appealed to be reserved unto the hearing of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I might send him to Caesar.
Okay, verse 25. Now all this is doing, I just want you to see that this word Augustus in the Bible. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Just want you to see this in the Bible, and now you've been taught tonight that this was a black man. But I ain't gave you the source yet. I can't just tell you this. I got to give you some sources. And also, I'm gonna be honest with you too. Some of these sources are gonna be my own commentary. I'm gonna give you some documentation, where you can go get your hands on it and read it for yourself. And also, I'm gonna give you just my own commentary. Because what you do, you sit there, and when you study this stuff out, you just put line upon line, and you put that source, that, and it just unfolds like a puzzle. But it takes time to do that. Read.
But when I found that he had committed nothing worthy of death, and that he himself had appealed to Augustus, I have determined to send him.
Okay, so now, this Herod the Great, keep that in remember, nephew is who? Caesar Augustus. Julius Caesar's nephew. Julius Caesar, nephew. So, that means that if he's Julius Caesar's nephew, that means he's related to Julius Caesar. Right? You don't got to be a brainiac to know that, right? So now, if I'm telling you that Augustus is a man of color, it just kind of makes the easy reason that Caesar would be a man of color. Though I'm not trying to deal with Caesar tonight, because Caesar came a little bit before Christ. I'm just dealing with Christ until now. Okay? So, but now, next slide. You can stick with Rome. Next slide, stick with Rome. And I'll tell you to go back to the Israel slide. Uh-oh. Now, Suetonius, he lived around about 69 AD to 140 AD. He's a political biographer, meaning he's like a historian, okay? Look at what he says about Augustus. Here we go. Now, here are your sources, okay? Now, Suetonius, this is what he is. Suetonius is a political biographer. He said this about Augustus. He says his eyes were clear and bright. So he says, he's kind of giving the description of Augustus. He said Augustus' eyes were clear and bright. Now look at the dates now. This 69 AD. That's ancient writing. That's ancient literature here. Okay, so they ain't like some 2018 stuff. Somebody went in their little own room and made up. This is ancient writings here. Okay, and I have the books. I had the books to prove it. That's why I got out the book. Okay, this gentleman here, Suetonius, he's a political biographer, and this is what he says about Augustus. He says eyes were clear and bright. He said his hair was blondest. So now, when I read that, I said, dang, that ain't gonna stretch, Joe. You can't. How you gonna say he black? I said, there you go. That's it. That's it. That's it. See, that's it. I know what I did? For me to be able to stand here before y'all and me stand at Bedfordshire before I present this, I had to see at least one picture. I had to see at least one person, that black man, colored man with blonde hair, then I could stand on it. I went online, boop, 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 boop. I said, there you go. But now I got my sister right here in front of my face. She that dumb black. God, I may take a picture of you before I leave here tonight. Come on. Look at that. Look at that. That's a perfect way to, come on, give a, come on. Come on, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about right there. Excellent. Lord, you done made my day with that right there. Because I literally, before I could present this to the people, I said, I got to at least find one person. If I could find, Lord, you help me find one person that's of color, that got blonde hair, I can stand. Because you can't just stand for people and tell you. You got to prove this stuff. You can't just be telling somebody something. You got to prove this. So I was up there. And I ain't that good. And this stuff takes hours. It takes time. So I was like, oh, gotta find one. Because I knew in my spirit, I knew what the Lord would give me in my spirit, and he ain't gonna leave y'all back. When I saw one, I saw two, I said, yeah, there they go right there. And I got one in front of my face. I may take your picture and put on these teachers from now on. Y'all see that? That ain't blessed y'all. That blessed me. I'm gonna tell you that blessed me right there. Because this brother here, and I believe he was a brother too, but that's another whole subject. I'm trying to tell you, we held the authority for 4,500 years. We held the reins for 4,500 years. The good, bad, and the ugly. It was all us. You want to tell it all. He said Augustus' eyes were clear and bright. His hair blondness. Black men do have blonde hair. Look online. I said, look online. And watch this now. Relatively curly hair. And he had, here we go. He had a complexion intermediate between dark and fair. That's her right there. Intermediate between, when I saw dark, I was sold. I never heard that before. Never heard that before. The Lord had to direct me to that. I said, there you go right there. Augustus was a black man. Dark and fair. And you find this in Suetonius, his literature, page 88. Get the book, go look for it. I have the book. I see the eyes and all that. page 88, you'll find it right there. It gives the description. Take her picture and glue it right there in the page. I'm saying, y'all, that's a blessing to have right in front of your face like that. I ain't trying to put it on Front Street, but that's what you need. When you're teaching something like this, because somebody going, I know he probably going on YouTube, whatever he's going, somebody going to say, that joker done gone crazy. Dr. Well done got somebody up there done gone crazy, talking about Augustus, all the Gentiles are black. I know this ain't going to be a problem. I know it ain't. I don't care. I know the Lord put it in my spirit. Because when you hear the word Gentile for some that's in the learning community, they throw it all on white folk. No, brother. You got some black Gentiles too, brother. That's one right there. Augustus. Because why? Get this now. Why would he be, how is it that he could be a Gentile and be of color? Because remember, when the Most High confused the language at the Tower of Baal, all the Japheth's descendants didn't go north. Someone pull up one of those maps I got. You probably see it on there. One of the maps. It should be. It's on one of those. It's gonna be on the. I got a map right here, a world map. Talking about one that I had put up on my thing. No, pull up. Go to the end of. Go to the end of. Which one is it going to be on there? Go to the end of the one that has the 18 slides. That's going to be Rome. Yeah, go to Rome. Let me see if that's going. Let me see that's where it's at. I know this is boring to some of y'all, but Dr. Will let me come down here and teach to myself again. I appreciate that, man. It's good. I mean, it's life-changing. Let me see. Put me. I thought I put it on vibrate, baby. Yeah, go to the end of it. Yeah. I think I got it there. Go one more. Okay, yeah, here we go. Now, watch this now. Get this. On this screen here, thank you. I know I'm working you, but you told me working, man. You see? Okay, now. Look at it. Go get your Bibles. Go over to the back of your Bible. Some of y'all Bibles is going to have, some of your Bibles are going to have maps in the back. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, that's Paul's journeys. Let me see. Okay, no, yours don't have it. Let me see. Who has? That's Paul's journeys. Okay, look in the back of your Bible. You're gonna see some of them have a map that's gonna show where Noah's sons settled at. You're gonna have the three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Some of them indicated with red, some of them indicated with blue, some of them indicated with green. It's going to kind of look like this. I hand you this. It's going to show, it's going to maybe have like a little box right here that say Javon, descendants of Japheth. Am I have it? No.
I'll let you see it so maybe you can find it.
Let me see. See yours? Okay, I'm not going to take up too much time. Nope. Yeah, now that's it right there. Now, I don't know if you can put that. That's what that's what he got right there is what we got up here. So I don't know, but sometimes it's in the back of your Bible. Some Bibles have it in the back.
Okay, pass it, just, we got it, we
You got
passing it down.
Okay, so, but now some Bibles have them in the back. Some Bibles have them in the back. Let me see what you got. You don't have them back there. Yes, yeah. So now, put like this: the ones that do have it on your phone or something, I just want you to make sure it's confirmed that what I'm showing up here is correct. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be sitting here showing something if you can't have a witness saying it's correct. Okay. Okay. Now, now, here we go. This is what I'm presenting as to be the truth. Okay. These are the sons of Javan that's in the red color, okay? Now, the scripture says, if we read in Genesis chapter 10, verse, it has 2 through 5 there, it says, by these are the owls of the Gentiles. Remember we read that? Now, the fact is, when that scripture back in Genesis chapter 10 says that about Javan, about Japheth, descendants, these brothers and sisters in that verse, in that text at that time were black folk because they just came out of the ark, okay? Then they started building this tower to God, and God confused the language. All of them started building, not just them, but all them brothers, children, started building a tower, okay? God confused the language, and it caused everybody to disperse over the world. Japheth, or Javan's descendants, went further north. Now, not all of them went north because some of them settled over here. See that? Come on now, you get it? Some of them settled right there. Right there. The climate right here, it's going to be a warm climate, a hot, pretty hot, just like we have over here. Hot, cold, because what is that called? The longitude? It's like right here in Africa, what with a zero, what is it, like a zero longitude? Who knows that? The equator, and then it goes up like the latitude, longitude. It goes like down here somewhere like zero, then it goes up. So wait, now, these watch it, this right here, we chilling, right? We came from long distance. How many of y'all chilling? Y'all chilling? Yeah. Okay. Right now, go online, go on cyberspace, and find out what is the longitude, latitude of let's say, Rome, or let's say Kittim or Cyprus. Because what am I trying to do? You're going to see that it's going to be the same, round about the same longitude, latitude that the U.S. is in, as far as the farthest from the equator. Is that making sense? Why am I presenting that? Because that means they will have the same kind of climate pretty much that we will have.
That's right, amen.
Y'all woke yet? Find out what is the latitude, longitude of, what, talk to me. You take the mic, talk to me, what you got?
41.9028 north, 12.4964 east.
Okay, now who that you talking about?
This is Rome, the longitude and latitude of Rome.
Okay, say it again.
41.9028 degrees.
Somebody write it down. Listen to that. Watch it.
41.9028 degrees north, 12.4964 degrees east.
Okay, now, what's going to be the latitude, longitude of the U.S.? Now, you're going to see why I'm doing this, because the further you are away from the equator, the colder it becomes. You see what I'm saying? So Japheth's descendants that was called Gentiles that didn't go that further up, they didn't go into no region where their complexion began to change. They stayed right here in this area, and guess what color they would have stayed? Black. Is that making sense to anybody? Now, some of them descendants went further north, and the further they went up north, now, remember I said the Caspian Sea? The Caspian Sea is like, it's up in here. Somewhere, it's up in here somewhere, okay? So now, oh, there you go, right there. See the Caspian Sea? Now, Caspian and the Black Sea gonna be over here, somewhere over here. So right up in here is these Caucasus Mountains. So some of his descendants, see the red, see how the red, Japheth, they went north. Some of them stayed right here, and some of them kept going north, and as they went north, they began to change complexion. Because they begin to be deep, and it took hundreds and hundreds of years. It didn't happen overnight. They went way up here into them cold climates. The pineal gland began to freeze. That made them less spiritual. You wonder why some, Jesus help me, Lord. You wonder why some don't have too much rhythm? I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But that pineal gland froze. And like I said earlier, the first thing they should have did when they came out the mountain, got their hand on the first black woman or black man, because it came to neutralize them. Oh my God. It would neutralize the system. Did you find the U.S. yet?
Yes. It is 37.
Come on, get it?
37.0902 degrees north and 95.7129 degrees west.
So that's almost the same window as Rome, right? You see where I'm coming from? So now, that means we're going to have relatively almost the same kind of, it ain't going to be no extremely cold. It ain't going to be no extreme. You see where I'm coming from? In a climate like that, you don't turn, you're not going to turn because you're freezing all the time. You guys?
Hey, Nassi, there is a law called Hello. There is a law called Glober's Law, like the globe, Glober's Law,
Come on.
that says if you are in the region of the equator
Come on.
or in the warm, whether you're north or south of the equator, but the equatorial region, that means you have to be dark skin.
Come on.
And the birds have brighter plumage, and the animal colors are brighter, and the foliage is also more green, and the florals are more brilliant. So that's global law. So if you're anywhere within the region of the equatorial region, you buy, it's a law, it's a scientific law that you have to be a melanated person.
Come on now. I pray that makes, thank you, sister, thank you. I pray that making sense. So you can clearly see that when they scatter at the Tower of Babel, all of Javan or Japheth descendants, all of them didn't go all the way up. Some of them settled around about here. But they were still Gentiles. You see where I'm coming from? But there was a Gentile that was of what? Color. Because they didn't go to no, like she mentioned, they didn't go to no climate where their complexion would change. You got a point? Come on.
The pineal gland that he keeps referring to is a small endocrine gland in the brain.
Come on.
And it this gland produces melatonin. So like he said, that gland froze, so therefore the melatonin, which is what gives us our color, no longer produced, as well as other things. It does other things as well, but I just wanted to say that just in case they didn't know.
Absolutely. Thank you, babe. Absolutely. And that's why they would look at the black man as being divine and more spiritual, because the darker the complexion, the more divine and spiritual you are. But somebody done came in life and told us black won't where it's at and light is in. Somebody lied to us. Because the darker is the better. They don't preach too many places. the darker is the better. But somebody done came along and done turned this thing and want you to think that the whiter is the better. No. They knew the darker was the better, so they had the assignment to turn it around. We ain't picking on nobody. God wants you to know truth. He wants you to know truth. We ain't picking nobody. We ain't pointing no finger. We just want truth. Just give me truth. Y'all pass the mic back.
And just to add to that, it's the pineal gland that's accessible to a lot of spiritual, unseen things, and that's why it's also called the third eye.
Yes.
And
yes.
so you see it a lot of
Yes.
Egyptian things
Yes.
on our dollar bill and
Yes.
stuff. So it is the truth about the darker you are,
Yes.
the more spiritually acute
Yes.
you are, because of that's what God
Come
put
on.
in you.
Yes.
So it's not because I'm just black and
Come
all
on.
that.
Come
it
on.
really is a
Yes, it
scientific
is.
thing to attach to your spirituality.
Yes, it is.
And your
Thank you.
discernment of
Yes, it
spiritual
is.
things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I remember correct, I think I remember some studies or somebody presenting stuff like they would, some of them, if I haven't been looked into this to confirm it, but they would even try to take your pineal gland. Why? Because somebody knows something. Now, I don't know if they were successful, if it worked, that's another whole subject, but that's what the subject is. So, Suetonius tells us that Augustus was a black man. Next slide. Pliny, the elder. Now, I'm convinced, these are still historians, okay? I'm convinced that Pliny himself, how many heard Pliny the elder? These are all ancient writers, ancient historians. And they're writing about history, they're writing about, I'm even convinced that he was black, but that ain't my study for the night. I'm not trying to prove he was black, but I'm just presenting what he wrote about Augustus. That's all I'm doing, okay? So we have Suetonius, who said he was dark complected, and Dr. Let me know we want to cut off, man, whenever you're ready. He said, okay, it says, Pliny, who lived around about 23 A.D. to 79 A.D., in his book, chapter 11, page 143, he says, talking about Augustus' eyes were gray. Black men have gray eyes. Look online. So that's my little note there. So what I tried to do was go back to as many ancient writings as I can get my hands on to prove that, Augustus, the Claudian emperors, Yeshua, the apostles, you do your homework. So these are ancient writings. These are ancient documents, nothing new. No new stuff, all ancient. And this is what Pliny said. He said that, because some of them wrote a little bit more than other ones, okay? So and some of them didn't write too much of nothing. I don't know why, but they chose not to. But what he wrote concerning Augustus, he just basically said his eyes were gray. So that's okay. That's all he said about Augustus, eyes were gray. So now I got to be able to make sure that I can find a black man with blonde hair and gray eyes, or grayish eyes. And y'all know I found one. So once I saw that, I said, that's a wrap. Because somebody will call you on and say, you got to show that to me. So once I saw it, all I got to do is say, look online, because I know it's out there. Okay? So now, next slide, sir. Okay. Now, let's go switch back over to Israel now. And we can pick up with Tiberius in a minute. Okay, so now, next slide after that. Okay, Herod the Great. So Herod the Great ruled 37 BC to 4 BC. He was a Semite, meaning he was Jewish. He was an Israelite. I mean, I heard that too much, but he was. He tried to kill the baby Yeshua. Let's get to Matthew 2:1. So now, keep this in mind. Herod the Great is ruling where? In Israel, right? But he's under the authority of who? Of Rome, which is who? Augustus. So we got this black Augustus, with hair like my sister, ruling from Rome, and Herod the Great is there now trying to kill little baby Jesus, and Herod the Great is black. Hold on, I'm gonna show you how I come up with that in a minute. So here we go. So now, He tried to kill baby Yeshua. Matthew 2, 1 through 3. Read.
Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east of Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
Okay, so we know that Herod the Great, he was a Jew or a Hebrew Israelite. And just let me make this note, the first century Hebrew Israelites were black. The first century Jews were black. So since he was a Hebrew Israelite or a Semite, he's automatically black. But that just don't prove that yet. That don't prove that yet. But that's a fact. The Hebrew Israelites, and I got documentation, archaeological research and everything pointing that out. But he was a black man. He tried to kill baby Yeshua. And at the time that he's ruling in Israel, Augustus, black man, was ruling Israel from where? Rome. And we know it's very easily that he's a black man, Augustus, Gentile. Why? Because his descendants never went further north. Their complexion would not have changed. They would have stayed the same complexion. That's why we have some black Gentiles today. Why? Because all the Gentiles that came from Japheth didn't go north. Majority of them did. And some of them didn't go all the way up past the Caucasus Mountains. So that's why you can't call all of them Caucasians. I tell you what, go back to that map again. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you why I say you can't call them Caucasians. Okay, here we go. Now, okay, Google this. Google where the Caspus Mountains are at. Somebody find it. I'm sorry, the Caucasus Mountain. Yeah, Google where the Caucasus Mountains are at. Location of Caucasus Mountains. Technology off the chain, y'all. Location. What you got? Talk to us. Give it a mic. Hand the mic. Cut it on, Precious. And let us, what source you getting it from? What source you getting that from?
This is on Wikipedia,
Okay.
and it says the Caucasus Mountains are a mountain system in West Asia between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea.
Pause. Between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. So now, who doing that? Who did that? How you do that? Oh, you did it over there. I was gonna take that arrow and bring it over there, but I thought I'm tripping, y'all. Don't pay me no mind. This is the Caspian Sea right here. It was up there. Something happened.
I'm trying to show you a map. I got one.
Oh, you can put it up here?
Trying to.
Okay. Well, until he do that, the Caspian Sea is right here, and the Black Sea gonna be right up here. Am I correct? Who looking at a map? Yeah, you're right. Right? Yeah. So now, okay. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you, brother. Give my hand clap for that. I love technology. That's what's up. Okay, now look this. So now, the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. Now these are what? The Caucasus Mountains. Right? So Japheth's descendants, when they left the Tower of Babel, some of them went beyond these mountains. You following that? All of them didn't. See where I'm coming from? All of them didn't. Now some of them, now you can't see it over here. You can't see it over here. But now, let's say that if some of them went this way as they dispersed, but then they went further back over this way and then go up to Russia area. And when they came back down, they didn't come this way. You follow me? Okay. You can't see it on this map. You got to have a bigger. Now this map is good though, but I'm trying like. Okay, yeah. Get me a map of. Y'all good? I know sometimes it can be boring. I'm gonna tell you shit. Sometimes it can be boring to some folks, and I ain't trying to bore nobody out. Yeah, get. Yeah. Well, no, not a world. Get a map of like Middle East. Get a map of like the Middle East. Oh yeah, say that. Oh yeah, if they can't see that, then I got something right. I got you. See if you can get a map. I don't want to say a world map, 'cause that's gonna be too big. Of the East, map of the East. Yeah, Middle East. Yeah. Let's see. I hope they don't just zero in on Israel. They probably did. Okay, good. See. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. If you if you blow that one up. Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. Oh, I can make that one work. Let me see. Okay, well that is coming on though. It's coming. Okay, now as that load, okay. Now, they built the Tower of Babel down over here, okay? They built it down here in Africa. Africa's right here. They built it over here in Akabu land, okay, by the Tigris, no, not by the Tigris, but by the Pishon and Guyana River. They built over here, and it floated all the way up here, up in here to the area mountains, over this way. Okay, so now they begin. Once they came out of the mountain, when they came out of the area mountain, they settled. They came down to over here by Iran. Oh, I see what you're doing. Come over this way. They came out of the mountain and they came over here to Iran area, and they began to build a tower. So now God confused the language, and he scattered them all over the world. Now, so a lot of Japheth's descendants, some of them stayed right here, like we saw earlier, and some of them went further up north, and this is the Black, and this is the Caspian, this is the Caucasus Mountains. Some of them went this way. You follow me? Some of them went this way. You see, some of them still went north. You know what I'm saying? Some of them settled right here. Some of them went up this way. Some of them went this way. Some of them went this way and went up. Some of them maybe even went this way and went up. But when they came back down, they didn't come this way. They came around this side. You see what I'm saying? What y'all need? Oh, the charge is in there. Well, we're going to cut off them off. It's 9:51. We can cut them off about 8 minutes. So we're closing at 10. So what I want to, let me get a drumstick. Yeah, let me get a drumstick. I can point with a drumstick better. Yeah. Y'all know this is uncut teaching, y'all. This is Okay, here we go. So this is where they begin to build the ark down here in the Paishan and Guyana area of Africa, Al-Kabu land. And it floated from here up to up here with the Arab Mountains up this way. Okay. Now, when they came down from the Arab Mountains, they came down to Iran, Iraq area, close by into the land of what's called Shinar. And while they're down here in Shinar, they begin to build this tower. I don't see Shinar up there, but they begin to build this tower. And God said, no, better yet, no, hold on. Yeah, it's right over here. Here we go. He came down here. I think Shinar is right over here. God said, let us go down and boom, and we confound the language. So he confounded the language. And when he confounded the language, Japheth descendants, a lot of Ham descendants went down south. A lot of Shem descendants kind of settled around up in here. And a lot of Japheth descendants started settling up in here, and someone went up here. You follow me? Now, some of his descendants went up here beyond the Black and Caspian Sea, beyond the Caucasus Mountains, and the further they went up north, the more they began to be depigmented. Okay? Now, some of them also, like I said, that went north, they settled right here and went up as well, and as they went up, they began to be depigmented, but not like those. Is that making sense? But now, once they realized how cold it was up there, they started coming back down. But now, everybody didn't come this way beyond the mountains. Some came from this way. See, to be called Caucasians, they called Caucasian because they came from the other side of those mountains. But everybody didn't come from the mountains. Is that making sense? They're called Caucasians because they came beyond the Caucasus Mountains. But what about the ones that didn't come beyond the Caucasus Mountains? They still white complected, but you can't call them Caucasians. Well, you can call them anything you want to call them. But be grammatically or geographically correct, you can't do that because, say for instance, he said, I ain't come from there, I came over here. He's still a white man, she's still a white woman, but you can't call him a Caucasian. You can still call him a Gentile, but just like he's a Gentile, you got some black brothers that stay right here in this hot climate. They're Gentile as well. Because they're still in that same distance from the equator, that would have kept that same complexion, dark or brownish, the same complexion that we would have way over here, but we still the same distance from the equator. Is that making sense? So, now let's go back to Israel. Israel now. So we have Augustus, Herod, who was a Semite, and we know that the first century Jews are black, so he was a black man, but we ain't really proved that yet. We have him as a Semite, as a Jew, black man. All right, next slide. That's go down to Yeshua. Next slide. Okay, Herod the Great. I know so. Yeah. So we read this. He was a black man. So now, who was ruling from Rome? Augustus. Okay. Next slide. One of the wise men, it is said. Now, I believe personally all of them were black, but there's documentation that brings out one specifically being black, and I think they can just make that connection because of the language, his name, and so forth. But I believe they all was. But here we go with what I found. One of the wise men, it is said he was black. I believe they all were. That's my commentary. His name was Balthazar. He was a black man. This is not found in the Bible. Meaning, you're not going to find in the Bible that he was a black man. You're going to find this in what's called the Black Biblical Heritage. You get that book called the Black Biblical Heritage, you're going to see that it teaches that he was a black. Let's get Matthew 2:1. Oh, shit. So one of the wise men, it is said, he was a black man. And like just my little note there, I believe they all were. Me personally, I believe all of them were because of the location. In my mind, what's going to change it, okay? A black man. But this source does bring out the black biblical heritage. It does bring out that this particular man was a black man. Matthew 2:1. Read.
Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Okay. Next slide. Okay. Okay, here we go. Herod Antipas. Herod Antipas, his name means the praised skin, praise the skin. Now, watch this. Here we go. Herod Antipas, name means praise the skin, meaning the black skin. Son of who? Herod the Great was black. Let's go Luke, and we're going to close with this one. Luke 23, 8 through 11. Now, remember, he began to rule in 4 BC to 39 AD. Why? Because remember, his daddy died in 4 BC. If y'all remember that. Okay? So after daddy died, he came in charge and began to rule. But now, the Black Bible or Biblical Heritage book brings out that Herod Antipas was black. It's in that book. So if Herod Antipas was black and his daddy was Herod the Great, you do the math. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I had no problem with saying Herod the Great was black, though I have no source to put my hands on that say he was, but I got a source that said that his son was. So, if the son, where you get it from? Now that's my spin. Okay? So here we go. Luke 23, 8 through 11. Read.
And when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad, for he was desirous to see him for a long season, because he had heard many things of him.
So now this lets us know it's talking about Herod Antipas, the son of Herod the Great, because Herod the Great had died. But they still go by Herod because that's like a government title. You know what I'm saying? That's like the governmental position, authority, the Herod. Go ahead.
And he hoped to have seen some miracle done by him.
Or the name too, the family name as well. Go ahead.
Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and scribes stood and vehemently accused him. And Herod, with his men of war, set him at naught, and mocked him, and arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him again to Pilate.
That's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he ruled 4 BC to 39 AD. And you'll find that in the book, The Black Biblical Heritage, you're going to find that he is proven or shown to be a black man. So if Antipas, was a black man, and his father was Herod the Great, then it ain't too far stretched to say, okay, his daddy was black. So got a black son that came after his black daddy that's under leadership of this black Augusta. Talking about this black Messiah is a black thing, y'all. That closes us off for the night. Y'all can wake up. Y'all can wake up. My friend, your pastor, he asked for this to be shared. So if y'all going to start throwing stones, throw it at him. Come on. We may pick up back with it tomorrow. I don't know what he wants to do, but we can continue with it. Like I said, it's not a black or white thing. Somebody made it a black or white thing. But God wants you to know the truth. I want to get a picture of you.
That's good. Hey, did y'all enjoy that? I know that learning, as I shared, that's part of the thing, studying history. How do you make it interesting without being so boring in order to prove your points out? It's easy to say something. It's another thing to take and prove,